Hey, what's up, VC and everybody out there in YouTube land? It's Kendall Stokes coming at you with a video for the Spin Doctor and his Vinyl Mayhem YouTube channel. It's been a little bit, so I figured, man, I need to come with a video, and I thought I'd come with something a little bit different, something I haven't done yet, and trying new ideas. And this one, as you can tell, is sleepers in your record collection. And I went through my collection and found some records that I thought were sleepers, or records that maybe you don't really think about that are really, really good, and that are in your collection that maybe you don't listen to very often, or kind of get passed by a little bit because they're not the big record from the artist or band. And so these are some of those records that you could also maybe find in your record store for not so much money as well. Maybe they're a little bit on the cheaper side. But yeah, so I got 5 records that I'm going to show, and we'll call them sleeper records. So starting off, I'm going to start off with the band Boston. This is Boston's sophomore album. When we think of Boston, we always think of that debut album because it is so great, amazing, and it's pretty much a greatest hits album, but we forget that they had a few more albums. This one, Don't Look Back, superb album, but it gets lost in the shuffle because that first album is just so good. But this one is really, really good too. Came out 2 years later, 1978, and it just doesn't get talked about as much because that first one was so good. But this one, again, on that Epic label, this is a first Canadian press that I have, but this one is actually really, really good too. I was actually just listening to it today, and it's got classics on it like Don't Look Back, a great song. It's Easy, another great song. A Man I'll Never Be, such a great slow building ballad. Feeling Satisfied, another killer rocker. Party, awesome. Used to Be Bad News, and closing it out with Don't Be Afraid. Just some really killer songs. Is it as good as the first one? No, I think that first record is just phenomenal, and one of, if not the best debut album by any band, period. But this is a great record that is not talked about as much, if at all, like that first record. And you can normally find it at your local record store at a pretty manageable, cheap price, I think. I think I bought this, it was a couple years ago, but it was like $10 or under. Now, prices I know have gone up, but it's still a fairly cheap record when you find it. The first record probably definitely more expensive, but this one is still a great record, and pretty inexpensive, and it's still got a lot of killer songs on it that you still hear on the radio, and some songs that you don't hear on the radio. Definitely worth having in your collection, which I think every Boston album is worth having in your collection. But this one definitely does not get the praise that I think it deserves. So, Boston, Don't Look Back. If you don't have it, I think it's one you need to add. Great album from a great band that and should be. So, Don't Look Back. If you don't have it, go get it. Another album that I was looking at, and I don't think gets talked about as much because, first off, this artist has so many great albums, such a catalog of songs, but there's certain albums of his that I think get more talk than a lot of others. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe people talk about this album all the time, but the ones that I always hear people talk about are, well, not this one, but it's Elton John, Madman Across the Water. This is a superb album, but most people always talk about Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Don't Shoot Don't Shoot Me, I'm Just a Piano Player, Tumbleweed Connection, fantastic Mr. called I'm Going Brain Dead, or it's self-titled, or some of his later, but this one is a superb record. It came out in 1971. They actually just did a 50th anniversary not that long ago. But this record, and Honky Chateau, obviously just, but this one I don't think gets the love that it deserves. And maybe I'm Kendall, what are you talking about? This album's one. And if it does, I'm sorry, and you can skip past this one. But I think this record is superb. Obviously, it's got Tiny Dancer on it, which is, I think, his greatest song. Honestly, I think it's his best song. It's my favorite Elton John song. It also has Leave On it. Amazing song. But if you have not listened to Madman Across the Water, that song, freaking phenomenal. Just the vocals, just the way that song, I want to describe it, just the way it kind of plateaus and then goes down, then plateaus again, then goes down. His vocals are just freaking crazy. Just an amazingly well-written song. Brandi Carlile actually did a cover of that on the Howard Stern show a couple of years ago. Maybe even just been last year. Acoustically with the Twins. She killed it. But just such a great song. Some other great ones on this one are it's always hard to read. Maybe just look. By the way, it's on that UNI label, which is a really cool looking rainbow type label. Really love the way this label looks. Indian Sunset and Holiday Inn, Rotten Peaches, that's a really cool song. Razor Face, such a weird title, but really cool song. But just such a good album that I think kind of gets lost in the shuffle because so many people just always gravitate towards Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, which is a phenomenal album and probably his most complete album, but this is just such a good one. And again, I think probably not a very expensive album because most people gravitate towards the other albums, especially Goodbye Yellow Brick Road and Honky Chateau and Don't Shoot Me, I'm the Piano Player. Those ones I see, in record stores, and, they're always a little bit higher priced. But this one is always a little bit cheaper. But yeah, if you haven't listened to this one from beginning to end, do it. It's so good. Such a great one. Next one I think is a phenomenal one. Everyone knows me. I'm an Eric Clapton fanatic. And this one I don't think gets enough love. This one came out in 1978. It's Backless. And this one, Eric was doing a little bit more of his country rock, I guess you would say. Country blues rock. This one came out right before he did his live album, Just One Night. Is that what it's called? That 2 LP. Anyway, this is, I think, a great record. Not a lot of hits were on this record. Promises was on this one, but his cover of Tulsa Time, which, by the way, I want people to know, that was not originally a Don Williams song. That's an old song, been covered many, many times. I can't remember who the original artist is, but it was not originally Don Williams. But he does a great cover of Tulsa Time on this. What else is on this one? Golden Ring. Golden Ring is on this record. Great song. Just a superb record. Got that, country rock sound to it, with obviously a blues influence. Me, I don't think Eric Clapton can do anything wrong. Just such a great guitar player. Always has a great band with him, great backing singers, and this is just no different. And the live album that came out after this is such a great live album. It was the tour that he did with this. It's always a cheap record. I'm always finding this record for like $5 pretty much everywhere I go, and it's well worth it. I mean, if you can find any record for almost $5 nowadays, it's almost worth it. And if it's an Eric Clapton record, it's definitely worth it. So Eric Clapton, it's always going to be on this RSO label. So don't let that scare you. RSO is a subsidiary of Polydor. It's fine. Get it. They're going to sound fine. Next, this one right here is another one. People always talk about, when they talk about this band, they're going to talk about the Self-Titled, or they're going to talk about Brothers in Arms. But to me, this is my favorite. This is my favorite Dire Straits album, Making Movies. Came out in 1980. This is my favorite. It is. Like I said, people are going to talk about Self-Titled. People are going to talk about, of course, Brothers in Arms. You know, Money for Nothing, So Far Away, Walk of Life. But this one right here, so good. It's on that Warner Brothers label. I mean, you got Tunnel of Love, Romeo and Juliet, my favorite Dire Straits song. Skate Away, yep, Skate Away, so good. The first track, or the first side on this is just phenomenal. It's only 3 songs, but each song is at least 6 to 8 minutes long each. So good. And again, to me, you know, I want to say I normally find this record always between $10 to $20 everywhere I go, and you know that's definitely a bargain. Now, Mobile Fidelity did just reissue this record. I want to say, now granted, you can spend the Mobile Fidelity prices if you want. You know, I think the originals sound fine if you can find a good clean copy. This is a nice good clean copy. I think I paid like $15 for it. You know, so you can't go wrong with that. But don't sleep on this record. You know, don't think that you have to go out and get just Brothers in Arms or the Self-Titled. This record, to me, this was the 3rd record. To me, it's the best record. Love it. There's not a bad track on this. You cannot go wrong with this record. This album is phenomenal. Mark Knopfler, just a superb guitar player, songwriter. Romeo and Juliet's where it's at, though, for sure. Great record. And the last one I want to talk about, I'm sure all of you are going to say, what are you talking about? This is his best-selling record, which I believe it is his best-selling record. But the reason I'm talking about it is because I think most people just kind of go and get his greatest hits from 1974 to 1978 and call it a day. But I think you need to get this record. Steve Miller Band. This is when he went commercial. I get that. A lot of people love just his early psychedelic stuff, which is good. A little out there at times. This is when he was, like I said, he went commercial. This album came out in 1976, right after The Joker, which was his really first big financial success. His first, commercial success. And then this one came out. This one has a lot of big hits on it. You know, it's got Take the Money and Run, Fly Like an Eagle, the self-titled song. Rockin' Me's on this as well. So it's got a bunch of commercial hits on it, but there's also some other stuff on here that is so good, that I think gets overlooked. And it still does have some psychedelic vibes to it. Plus, I just love that cover. Just him getting into it with that Stratocaster upside down. But oh man, there's such a great cover of Mercury Blues on here, which, you know, when I was a kid, the first time I ever heard that song was Alan Jackson. Obviously, he's not the original artist, and neither is Steve Miller. The song, let's see, Dance, 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 great tune. Got a little bit of that hillbilly, rockabilly guitar picking in there. Steve Miller's such a great guitar player. And then there's a cover of You Send Me, the Sam Cooke classic. Really, really good on here. And like I said, then just some of the classic songs on here too. But like I said, there's also some of that psychedelic feel on here as well. So like I said, I know it is a commercially successful record, but I think most people, they just kind of buy the greatest hits album and call it a day with him. But getting his complete albums like this, don't sleep on that. This is such a great record, like a complete record. It's totally worth having. And it's my favorite Steve Miller album. Totally worth having. Yeah, so it's on Capitol. Like I said, came out in 1976. It's his best-selling record, I know, so it's not one of those. So I know, you know, it may not be a sleeper, but I think for some people it is, because they always just go, oh, let me get the greatest hits. No, go for his album. Go for his album, early stuff and his later stuff. So anyway, those are my 5 sleepers. Maybe they're not sleepers to you, but I think they are sleepers to a lot of people. I have more that I could go through, but I wanted to just start off with these 5. I may do more later on. If you liked what you saw, give me a thumbs up. Leave me some comments, guys. I want to try to do more videos like this. I'll probably do another one of the 5 records that you may be surprised are in my collection. I'll probably do some more sleepers later on as well. But anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you don't mind. Leave me some likes, some comments, all that good stuff. Until next time, peace out. Bye.